Now we're going to do a demonstration of measuring tree height with the Biltmore stick. Again, the Biltmore stick in terms of tree height is useful for measuring the number of whole 16-foot logs and half logs. 16-foot log is sort of a convention. A lot of tables that you can get to measure, to turn diameter and height into tree volume are based on 16-foot logs. But conveniently, the Biltmore stick has a table on it that's based on 16-foot logs. There's a principle that we'll talk about throughout the videos of being, first of all, as precise as you can be in making measurements. That means they should be repeatable. Secondly, being somewhat conservative. When you're doing estimates of tree volume, you want a relatively conservative estimate. If you were going to err a little bit on one side or the other of what the true volume or value is, you'd want to be on the conservative side. So we'll talk about ways as we move into height and diameter that you do that. But again, the Biltmore stick, the use of it depends on being 66 feet from the tree, which happens to be, in terms of old land measurement units, one chain being 66 feet. So we're going to use our logger's tape to do that, but I want to make a point. We talk about precision. If you are 64 feet from the tree, or 65 instead of 66 feet, and you use the Biltmore stick, you're going to overestimate the height of the tree. If you're over 66 feet when you do the measurement, you're going to underestimate the height of the tree. And again, we want to be as precise as we can. If you're measuring tree height of a fairly small diameter tree, where you put your logger's tape doesn't really make too much of a difference. But you can see this tree, and we'll measure diameter a little bit later, is well over a foot in diameter. It's pretty close to 1.5 feet or 18 inches. So you want to be 66 feet from the center of the stem. On a bigger tree, it makes it more important than on a smaller tree to put the tape at the center. So when I put the logger's tape, now I'm going to put it on the side away from the camera, instead of doing this and putting it at the edge of the tree, or starting the tape on the other side of the tree, you can see that I'm either too far or too close to the center of the tree. So on a bigger tree, you want to try to put the nail that lets you attach the logger's tape to the tree near the center of the tree. So it would be like this. Now, of course, I'm going to be coming towards the camera, so you can't see, but I am putting it near the center of the tree. So I'm going to walk towards the camera with my logger's tape until I'm 66 feet, or one chain from the tree, which is the proper distance for the Biltmore stick. We're going to talk about how we use this. The Biltmore stick is designed to be held 25 inches from the eye when you're doing heights or diameters. Well, how many of you know where 25 inches is? I don't. But guess what? Conveniently, the Biltmore stick is 25 inches in length. So what we want to do is find out where 25 inches is. For me, it's out here. That's the distance of 25. For me, it's right about arm's length. So now I'm at 25 inches. I want to hold it plumb or vertical, and I want to place the bottom of the Biltmore stick, as I look at it from my eye, slightly above the bottom of the tree, because loggers rarely cut a tree right at ground level. So we assume about a 6-inch stump. And then, without moving the stick, I look up the tree to where I think the very last 16-foot log is, that's maybe about 8 inches in diameter inside the bark. That's a judgment call. But I'm going to say that's a 3-log tree. So that's that number right there. So when I looked at the point on the tree, that I think that's about 8 inches, it's a pretty straight tree. That at that point, anything above that's just going to go into pulpwood. Below that, they can make saw timber, make boards out of it. What is that number it came across? And it was at 3 logs. So I'm saying that's a 3-log tree.